Hi, I hope you're ready for an upper body burn today. For this class, you'll need 3 sets of weights and a chair. The weights that I'm using are 20, 10, and 8, but you can use whatever works for you, just a heavy, a medium, and a light. Let's go ahead and get started with our warm-up, starting with some shoulder rolls, rolling the shoulders up, around, and back. 3 more times. 3, 2, 1, and switch your direction, roll back to front. Really squeezing the shoulder blades together and then rolling them forward and around. 2 more, and last one, roll them around. Then take your arms up just shoulder height, and we'll pulse the arms down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take your left arm, lift it overhead, and then back to the T, and then right arm and to the T. So we do one side and then the other side. 4 more. Up and down, and 3 left and right, and 2 back to the left and down and right and down. Last one, left, down, right, down. Next we'll do big arm circles, just circling down and to the front and back around. Big circles. And then switch, go the other way. 3, 2, and 1. Take your arms, just swing them across your chest, making sure you switch what arm goes on top each time. And let them come back behind you, opening the chest as you go back. Last 2, 1. Good, shake the arms out. Come to a stable parallel standing position. Your arms will lift up to 90-degree angles. Close the elbows together, open them away, and rotate the arms down. Close, open, rotate, back up. Close, open, rotate, up. Go through this 5 more times. 4, rotate, in, 3, rotate, 2, down and up, and 1, down and up, and then just close the arms together and then release the arms. Shake them all out, shake the shoulders. Okay, some twists at the waist. Arms to a T, bend the elbows, then twist to the right, back to center, T, bend the elbows, twist to the left, back to center, T, bend, twist right, center, T, bend, twist left, center, T, bend, twist to the right, back to center, T, then bend the arms, twist to the left and center. You'll keep doing this, going to the right and then over to the left. Try to keep your hips as forward as you can as you twist, and just twist from your rib cage. And one last one, then just drop the arms down. So we're finished with the warm-up. Let's move into our actual workout now. We'll start with our heaviest weights. Make sure when you pick up weights, you use your legs to pick them up. And we're gonna stand parallel and do wide bicep curls. And we're only doing these to failure. So you shouldn't be able to get very many reps in. I think I only get 5 or 6 reps in here before my form really starts to suffer. And that's my indication that I am done. So you're only doing as many as you can with adequate form. It's gonna go a little bit, and that's your indication to be done. See, my form's, I'm not getting good form, so I'm gonna stop, I'm done. If you're not done yet, you can always pause the video, go to your failure, and then hit play again. All right, our next exercise, we are going to use our heaviest weight again and come down onto your back with your knees bent and your feet planted on the floor, your lower back in touch with the floor. You'll row up, turning the palms out, and then as you row down, turn the palms in, up and down. Up, turn the palms out. As you come down, turn the palms back in, and just tap the elbows on the floor. You don't want to rest them, just tap them down, and then press those weights back up overhead. You should come up about to the midline of your chest, so you don't want to be those weights going overhead, nor do you want the weights to be down at your belly. Just right in the middle of your chest as you lift up and then come back down. Again, we are going to failure. And with this press, you should be able to do more than with the bicep curls. So I can do a lot more before I hit failure on this chest press than I can on those bicep curls. But again, you want to keep good form, which for this means that your lower back is staying on the mat. You're not arching to try and press those weights up overhead. And of course, that you actually can use the muscles to push up. When the muscles aren't going to push those weights up overhead anymore, then obviously you're at failure and you're done, when you literally can't get them up overhead anymore. Or if your form is just getting too bad. We don't want to do that either. So Either you absolutely cannot do anymore, or your form is really, really suffering to try to do more. Then that's when you're done. So keep working wherever that is and not giving yourself a cop-out of like, oh, it's getting hard, I need to be done. You have to be at failure. Failure is different than I'm just tired, right? So make sure that you're being honest with yourself about when that is. And you don't give up just because it's hard. We want to push our muscles past the point of where they currently are so that they get stronger. So if we're actually going to failure, that's going to help. But if we just go to where, oh, it's getting a little bit hard, I'm done, then we're not pushing those muscles very far. All right, I'm going to call that for myself. Set those down, stand up, and just shake out my hands. Sometimes just gripping those weights can be really taxing for your forearms. So just give yourself a little bit of break in between the different exercises. We'll go back to our heaviest weight. And for this, we are going to do reverse row. So palms turn forward. You're going to bend your knees, stick your hips back, and then row those weights back, keeping the elbows hugged in towards your sides. You want your chest lifted the whole time. So you're not sagging down with the chest. You're opening the shoulders as you come back. More really opening the chest nice and wide, keeping it nice and wide as those shoulders come back and the elbows pull right back behind. Squeezing up and down, up and down. Squeezing in and out. Belly is pulled in and engaged. Hips are back. Chest is nice and open. Especially as you pull those elbows back, that chest is really going to open up. To failure. If you're finished before me, put your weights down. You can always get a drink. You can always stretch out. Or you could even fast forward the video to the next exercise as well. Keep going for as long as you can, doing these reverse rows. When you're finished, set your weights down. And again, give yourself a little break, shaking out. I like to open and close my fingers or even roll my wrists around just to help release out your forearms and that grip strength that really gets worked. All right, medium weights. You're gonna grab those. Feet go parallel. And we're gonna lift to side raises, lateral side raises, just lifting up and down. These are for our shoulders. Shoulders are going to fatigue more than biceps. They're not as big of muscle groups, so they usually fatigue faster. You only wanna lift to about shoulder height, keeping your arms as straight as you can and your belly as engaged as possible. So again, we're watching that we're not arching. We don't want to put the work and strain in our back. We want to put it in our arms, that upper body, up and down. Lifting and lowering. As you go through this, the weights are going to start to feel heavier and heavier. That's fine as long as you're having fairly good form. You're not losing it completely. You also might slow down with how fast you can go. No problem. Normal and fine. Just go to your failure. See that I'm slowing down here. Woo. We're going to call that good. My back's starting to arch a little bit. All right, set those weights down. Give yourself a little bit of a break. And for this next one, we are going to go back to our heaviest weight. Carefully pick up your heavy weights, come back to that nice parallel, slight bend in the knees, and then we'll alternate hammer curls. Hammer curls, your palm stays facing you the whole time instead of like a bicep curl where the palm's rotated out. I'm just gonna do one side and the other side. You wanna keep the elbow tucked in as close as you can as you lift and lower the weight. Make sure that you control it up and on the way back down, engaging the belly, lifting the weight to the shoulder, and then lowering down. By doing alternating hammer curls, you should be able to go a little bit longer, especially longer than those wide bicep curls that we did at the beginning. But again, we're just working to failure on this particular exercise. Making sure that we don't have to arch significantly to lift the weight, and we don't have to also use like lots of momentum where we're doing a big swing to get it up with the hips or anything like that. You're trying to isolate the work to the arms, specifically in the bicep area. So this works the bicep, but just a different side or head of the bicep than the bicep curls did earlier. Trying to hit all those different spots in the arms, the shoulders, and even through a little bit of the chest and the upper back today. Yeah, got some of that work face going, scrunching. I'm gonna call that and put those weights down. Give my arms a little bit of a rest and a shake before we move on. Okay. So for this next exercise, we are going to use, once again, our heavy weights. Let's go grab them. This exercise is called a Arnold press, but a little bit different because we're going to do up and then press again and then come back down. So palms rotate in, and then as you press overhead, the palms rotate out, 2 of those, and then come back in. 2 overhead presses before you rotate in. This is very easy to arch your back, especially when those weights start to feel heavy. Try to use your back muscles to compensate. Lower back muscles should not be very involved. You can see I didn't get too many of those in with this heavy weight. My back was starting to feel it. I said, you know what? My muscles aren't doing their job. My arm muscles, I'm going to call it on that one. You might have gotten more in. You might still be going. That's super awesome. If you're done, take a little break before we hit this next one. Okay. Medium weight, but we just need 1 single arm tricep extension. So you lift your arm up, you're just gonna bend the arm down, keeping the elbow hugged in, and extend it back up. Watch that you're not sticking your rib cage forward. I like to rest my hand on my rib cage so I can feel if it's poking out and I'm arching. I wanna keep that rib pointed down. I'm just going to bend and extend that arm overhead. And again, you'll be surprised at how heavy that weight starts to feel. It's going to go to failure. Of course, we're going to do the other side in just a second. Keeping those ribs down, belly engaged. Try to focus on the tricep on the back of your arm. Ooh, mine's dead. I'm going to just go ahead and switch that weight over to my other side and go right into this other side. Since it didn't do the work, it is more ready, doesn't need as long of rest. Seeing how much I can point my elbow up to the ceiling. This is going a little bit too flared for me. Try to keep that elbow in more towards your head as you go down and back up. This side is my weaker side, so it's a little bit harder for me to keep that elbow as tucked in, but that's what you really, really want, is that elbow nice and tight towards your head. So it's really having to work the tricep muscles that run on the back of your arm. Up and down. Keep breathing. You don't have to move fast. Just get as many as you can. Then when you're done, shake that arm out. Ooh. Put the weight down. Give yourself a breather. Okay, my lightest set of weights now. I'm gonna grab those. And for this, you're just gonna, again, stand in parallel, engage your belly, lift the arms up. You're gonna rotate, open the arms to a diagonal, come back together, and then rotate to the opposite diagonal, open and closed. So you're just doing one side and then rotating to the other side to open and close. Again, you wanna keep your arms as straight as you can. This is more work for the shoulders. Keep that belly engaged. Turning the arms on a diagonal, one arm goes up, one arm goes down. Twisting and opening, closing, twisting, opening, closing. Extending the arms as much as possible. Those elbows will start to bend when the weight starts to feel heavy. Woo! My arms are feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it. If you are too, you're in good company. All right. We're going to take a little bit long of a breather here. Whew. Just let everything go. And now back to light weights, your lightest set of weights that you have. You're going to lift the arm straight up, open the right arm, close it, down, and then the other side. Lift straight up, open the left, back down. So you lift to the chest, keep your arms that height, open and close one side, lower down, and then open and close the other side. So you're just alternating which side you're opening and closing. Right side, close, down, lift up, open, left side, close, down. And I'm only trying to go shoulder height. I'm not trying to go too far overhead at all, just staying shoulder height. Try not to lean back too much. My shoulders are definitely feeling it. They are done. Okay. Let that relax, shake out. Woo-wee! We're getting there. We're halfway through this workout. Actually, we're really more than halfway through the workout because we do have the cool down at the end that takes up part of the time. So we're more than halfway. Keep up with me. Here we go. Grab your middle-sized weights, palms forward. You're going to cross it over your body, lifting it up and crossing it over to the side. So my left arm's crossing over to the right, and then my right arm's going to cross over to the left. And I'm trying not to do too much twisting in my center. Again, just trying to use the arm muscles while engaging the core muscles to move those weights up and back down. Again, because this is an alternating exercise where you're using one arm at a time, your muscles will fatigue slower, and so you have more rest time in between, so you can probably do more reps on this one than you can in one where you're using both arms at the same time. Just crossing over and down, making sure to check in on your center and make sure you're engaging that, holding your core in, and crossing it over and over. And as you improve on these exercises, you can always continue to do the same workout, just upping the weight. And so you can just continue to progress even with the same exercises. You just have to get some more weights, some heavier weights to do that with. Keep going till you reach that failure point. Crossing over one side and the other, working to keep the hips and the center as stable as you can. And whenever you're done, you can set your weights down, grab a drink of water, stretch out. I think I'm almost finished here. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna put those weights down, roll my wrists around for a little bit, shake out my elbows. Sometimes your elbows will feel it as well from just holding those weights up. And now I'm going to return to my lightest set of weights. And hands go right together, weights touch each other, and you keep your arms bent, and you're just going to lift and lower, pulling the elbows into the side and lifting those weights up over your head, but not letting the weights separate. So your arms will not get all the way straight. Just going to push them up and down, keeping your center engaged, no arching, lifting up and down. Putting a slight bend in your knees is always a good idea when doing your upper body. Just don't want to lock those knees out, especially when you're feeling tired and fatigued. Lifting up and down. All right. Whew. I'm finished with that one. I'm going to put those weights back down. For the next exercise, we will need to get the chair. I'm going to move my chair onto my mat so it doesn't slide. You could also use like a couch, something. All you need is to be able to rest a hand on the chair. And I will do my middle weight for this one. So I'm going to grab my 10-pound weight and put it in my right hand. My left hand goes onto the chair. My back is flat, my knees slightly bent. And then bicep curl up and down. Palm turned towards my shoulder. Belly is engaged so that my back stays flat. And I'm just going to bicep curl up and down. As you're doing these exercises, don't feel like you have to do 100% what I'm doing. As always, these are guides. Everybody's at a different place in their fitness journey. And so some people might be able to do more weight than I'm doing. Some people might have to do less weight than I'm doing. Some people might have to drop down weight on certain exercises. It just depends on where you're at, and wherever you're at is fine. You just want to find that place where it's hard enough that you could get at least 5 or 6 good reps in, but not like you could do it all day without any feeling. It's got to be hard enough that you're going to fatigue at some point. Okay, I'm going to switch sides and do my other side. So just know that if you're not exactly with me, you can't do as many reps, or maybe you can do more reps than I can. That's totally fine. Again, just being smart, engaging it to where you're at, making sure that you can get at least 5 or 6 good reps in per exercise, and that you are challenging yourself, but it's not impossible for you to do. I'm just gonna bicep curl up and down. Squeezing that bicep as I lift the weight up to the shoulder. And again, always make sure that you're engaging through your center and your core when you do these exercises. We want to stabilize the center so the work goes to the arms. Okay, I'm finished with that. I'm going to put down and then give myself a little shake. You don't need the chair anymore, so you are welcome to move the chair. I'm going to move it off my mat so I have more room. Slide that off. And going back to middle weight. Use both of them this time. Feet parallel, slightly bent knees, and then lift, and then you're gonna just take those arms all the way around in the circle. So you're gonna rotate the arms around from the elbows, opening and rotating the weights down, and then rotating back to parallel. So the arms open, and then palms turn towards each other. Palms turn away, and then towards. Big circles out to the shoulders, around and down. To the shoulders, and around and down. I call these around the world. I don't know if that's actually what they're called. Seems like a good name for them, but I'm not 100% sure. Rotating them all the way around. I like to make up my own names for some exercises sometimes. Up and around and down. Try not to rest the elbows onto your hip bones so that you're not supporting the arms as much. You're just having to do the more work by holding those arms on their own accord. Again, around the world. Oh, we got another one here. Got a few more in me. Really feeling that we've worked the biceps today. I can totally feel those. This around the world starts with the hammer curl and then goes around. Okay, I'm finished. We are getting so close now. The end is in sight. Whew. Okay, we're gonna go down to the mat. Grab again those middle weights, just one. Lift the arm overhead, plant your feet, and then you're gonna cross it over your body to your opposite shoulder and then lift it back up. Body cross and then extend. Bend, cross it over to the opposite shoulder and extend it back up. And of course, you just do one arm and then do the other arm. Doesn't really matter what arm you start with, as long as you get both of them in. Bend and extend. Anytime you're doing these where you're laying down, you want your lower back to be nice and flat on the mat, and then also being really careful not to hit your head or drop your weight, because that weight is right above your head. Super scary. Even if it's a light weight, to have that weight drop on your head would be horrible. So make sure that you don't overdo it on these, and you can keep safely lifting and lowering that weight. When you can't do that anymore, then definitely quit, because we don't want any injury to the head because a weight fell on it. I'm going to switch arms and do the other side. Crossing it over, touching the shoulder, and then lifting it back up. Just kind of tapping the opposite shoulder and then extending the arm back up. Cross tap, extend and straighten. Yeah, we are almost there, and then we get a cool down and we can stretch our arms and our shoulders out, which feels so nice after a good workout. It's like my favorite thing to stretch. And it will help keep those muscles really mobile and help them to age gracefully, get less stiff and less sore. So I always like to add a little bit of stretch after every workout. Keep going till you reach that fatigue point, and again, be super careful with this one. We do not want you to hit your face. There we go. I'm just gonna roll myself up, put that weight down, and then come up to standing. That is it for the workout. You have made it. Let's move to the cool down. Take your right arm, stretch it across your body, grab right above your elbow, drop your shoulder away from your ear, stretch out your shoulder. The more you can hug that shoulder into your chest and pull it across, the more you'll feel it. Switch to the other side. Again, try to drop that shoulder away from the ear. That helps to stretch the shoulder out more. And open the arms. Now place your fingertips on your spine. Walk your hand from your shoulder as close as you can to the elbow and then rotate that shoulder inward to stretch the inward portion of the shoulder joint. If you can't get all the way down to your elbow, don't worry about it. Switch sides, just walk that hand down as far as you can and then pull the elbow forward to rotate the shoulder inward. Getting a nice stretch there. And release. Grab your chair. I'm going to use this to stretch out our shoulders. Put it on the mat. Walk your feet back far from the chair so that you can sink your chest down with your palms just resting on the chair. Drop your chest down. You can let your back arch. I like to maybe just bend one leg and then bend the other leg. Just easy shift side to side to help open up through my shoulders and even through my thoracic spine, that middle portion of the spine where the ribs are. You can even work to bend and straighten the legs. Really thinking about dropping your armpits, your chest, and even your head down towards the floor. And bend your knees and roll up through your spine, rounding yourself up, walking your feet back close to the chair. Take your right arm, grab your elbow, send your elbow up to the ceiling as you pull your arm back, and then lift your chin out of your chest. Switch to the other side, stretch out your triceps. This feels really nice. And again, do that little cross arm, stretch it out. Inhale, take your arms up overhead. Exhale, bring them down to your chest. And we are finished. Nice work. That was a hard workout. Way to stick with it. I'll see you next time.